Hi, this is Doug Horst from the Adventures of Dad, Pop Pop, and the Entrepreneur. Today is the second episode of Successful Individuals and How They Do It. My guest today is Ross Stockdale, real estate agent, marketing consultant, investor, cage fighter, and host of the Thunderstock Show. Thanks for being with me today, Ross.
Thanks for having me, Doug. It's my pleasure.
Well, I'm excited. Hey, let's get started. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your background and how you were brought up?
Sure. I grew up in South Central Pennsylvania, in a little town called Lidditz, and I had a first generation immigrant mother from Canada. English was her second language, and my father had family roots in the area in Lancaster, so that's how they ended up. My parents got together and had me. Father's career was in commercial real estate, so I grew up going to showings and meeting business owners that were buying and selling real estate. My grandfather also was a partner at NAI CIBI with my father, and when I was in grade school, they created Commercial Prime Property together, which was the family real estate brokerage. So I spent a lot of time in that industry without even knowing it. After high school, I went to Elizabethtown College. Originally, wanted to be an English teacher, and halfway through that, I made the decision that I did not want to be a teacher. So, in order to finish school, I took classes around the clock, worked about every job you could work, and realized the thing I liked to do the most was get to know people and their backgrounds and be really, social, if you can say that. So, I left college and didn't really have an idea what I wanted to do for a job. Worked a bunch of jobs and learned what I wasn't good at or what I didn't want to do. And I always had a knack for being scrappy and a hustler. So in college, we do things like crypto mining and selling things on Amazon from flea markets and yard sales. So I kind of stuck with that small business route and got into digital marketing as an SEO guy.
Awesome. Well, tell us what you do. What do you say? It sounds like you do a lot of things. Tell us what you do.
So I like to live life on my terms as I say it. I am a fractional chief marketing officer, marketing consultant, pretty interchangeable. I help business owners buy, build, and grow small businesses. I specialize in local small businesses, businesses that do less than $30 million a year. I help people that are investors do acquisitions. I help people, uh, grow and launch startups. Then I help people break into new industries, specializing in online marketing. And I try to go for B2B companies that are service based businesses that serve their local community. That is who I serve as a fractional CMO. What I do is I delegate everything but leadership. So I come up with the strategy, I manage the team, and I really help coach businesses on how to get customers, keep them for longer, and make more dollars per customer to grow profitably. I'm also a licensed real estate professional, and I focus on small commercial, um, or I go for residential. But my primary target is like the business owners that I already help through my current business as a CMO. As a podcast host, I like to have interesting folks like you on there, Doug, to do interviews, and I try to share lessons I've learned along the way on how I got to where I got. And the whole point of the Thunderstock Show is to share valuable brainstorms to enhance your life, liberty, and pursuit of property.
Well, how do you find your clients for marketing?
Most of my clients have been through word of mouth referrals, people I've known through my last 10 years of my career. I'm starting to get traction on LinkedIn. I join mastermind groups and networking groups, but a lot of my clients are from happy customers or business associates from the past.
Okay. Well, what would you say your leadership style is?
So there's a quote, I think it was by Theodore Roosevelt, is that people don't care what you know until they know that you care. So I think my leadership style is that of radical candor. Um, I think there's a difference between being nice and being kind. Um, I think that I like the idea of servant leadership. And really, I want people to know that, I will lead from the front. I want to take care of them personally. I care personally. And sometimes that means saying the harsh truths.
That's very good. What are some of your habits that you do on a daily basis that keep you focused and help you be successful?
So I start every day by taking care of my daughter. I get her up, play with her, give her breakfast, change her, and get her ready for her day. So I get grounded with my family in that respect. And I usually end the night by having a conversation with my wife or reading. Um, I incorporate prayer and like that meditation, goal setting, vision casting. I think that's good once a day. I'm active with working out. I don't work out every single day, but probably 4 times a week, and that keeps me going. And I guess another habit that I do is I set up my workstation at home so that I have everything I need all in one place, and I can dedicate 4 hours at a time to doing focused tasks.
Awesome. You mentioned about setting goals. Uh, how do you set your goals? Do you do them daily, weekly, monthly, yearly? How do you do them?
So I look at big picture goals. What are my 10-year plans, and I try to work in reverse from there on how to get there. I was very strict with my daily habit, my monthly income goals, my quarterly goals, to a T, very rigid. And then in the end of the year last year, my mother got murdered in a car accident by a drunk driver, and that threw my goals right out the window. So I realized that what I have in plan is not always what God has in plans. So as long my goal every day is to win the day, which is I know that I have a set schedule. I know that there are areas of my life I'm committed to, like my health, my relationships, and serving my clients. And I always say if I win the day, then the larger picture will take care of itself. And that's really been a change for me in the last year, is making sure that my habits are trying to make me the best man I can be. So I have daily goals, and I have plans for the future, but I'm flexible in how I get there. One step at a time is how I try to do it.
Sounds like a good plan to me. What do you think the biggest risk you ever took in life?
I would say that the biggest risk I ever took in life would be. That's actually a great question, Doug. There's probably many, but the greatest risk I ever took in life was making the decision in 2019 to not work for somebody else again. Since then, I had been self-employed, so it's 4 years now, and the hardest thing really was telling everyone around me that I'm not really looking for a job. I'm looking to create my own job, and then navigating that through COVID and really thinking, oh boy, what did I get myself into? So the first step of entrepreneurship was probably the biggest risk. But looking back on it, I don't know if today I would say it's the biggest risk. I think the biggest risk that I ever took was investing so much of my time working for other people and not spending more time chasing my dreams. So the biggest risk I ever took was in doubting myself.
Okay. Well, we all make mistakes in life. What do you think the biggest mistake you ever made was?
I would say that the biggest mistake I ever made in my life was in how I approached the end of my high school career. So I really did not take my future as seriously as a 33-year-old Ross would have liked it an 18-year-old. And I really listened to everyone else around me, and I did what I was told. Go to school, do this major, go to this school in particular, do this major in particular, do that, don't do this. And then I ended up like rebelling against it and forging my own way anyway. But there was just a lot of frustration with feeling disappointed and not doing what I wanted to do versus the fear of disappointing somebody else's expectations for my own life. So that was probably my biggest mistake was, going to the specific college I went to, doing the specific major because someone else wanted me to, not because I wanted to.
Okay, awesome. Now, we're talking about success here and successful individuals. Everybody has a different idea of what success is. What is your definition of success?
So When I think of success, I look at it like, life's a journey, and success to me means that you've reached the destination that you've set out to reach. So I think for me, it's like, there's finite games and infinite games. Infinite game means the goal of that game is to keep playing. So when it comes to business or relationships, you don't win marriage; you just stay married. When it comes to business, I don't know how you can win business. You just stay in business. So I think the definition of success for me is, forging your own path and staying on that path and not being deterred, um, and doing it with the people that you care about, right? Because what's success if you're alone in doing it? You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have relationships or health, it's not worth all that much. So for me, I think I would call myself successful today because I have a family that I get to see every day. I have work that I find meaningful that can help support my family, and I am I get to set my own schedule. So that to me is if you could call success a thing, why I would consider what I'm doing to be successful.
All right, great ideas, great answer. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? What do you think you'll be doing? And what kind of goals do you have for 10 years?
So 10 years from now, what I'd really like to do is have ownership interest in multiple businesses, and be really set in the career path that I'm currently on. So the same job types that I'm currently doing, just more evolved. I would like to have more than just my one child I have right now. Although if God only gave me one, I'd be happy with that. And I would like to be able to potentially homeschool or do private school for them and let my family, my wife, work the hours that she wants and spend as much time with my family as I possibly can while traveling and experiencing what life has to offer without any worry about financial success. Um, and I think I still want to be in South Central Pennsylvania, but have the option to travel around the world and experience different cultures and provide a really safe and enriching life for my family.
Well, Ross, I appreciate you answering all my questions. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you would like to talk about? I'm going to give you the last word here.
Sure, I think you know these interviews are great, and I appreciate the time to be on here. Um, I would like to say that anyone listening to Doug's stuff, keep listening, subscribe to the channel, and if you liked anything that I had to say, feel free to subscribe to my podcast as well. You can find it on Spotify at the Thunderstock Show.
All right, Ross. I really appreciate you taking the time today. I know you're a very busy man with your family and all the irons in the fire you got going. So thank you for your time and have a great day.
Thank you, Doug.